My name is Adam Dorito. This is the first time I've been back to Fort Lee in 10 years, since I first met him. And after hearing some of these stories, a lot of things are making more sense in my life. Because he obviously went through apparently an issue in E5 to E2. Well, I went from the United States Air Force Academy, completing that, and Marine Officer Candidate School to E4. So when I first met First Sergeant Gillins, I'm just finished airborne school, got to Fort Lee, trying to keep my mouth shut. I'm 27 years old with a master's degree in the National Guard. I've been given a second shot to prove myself to come back in and serve. And I'm sitting in the back of the room next to Private Cannon at the time. We're still good friends today. And I'm just trying to stay as quiet as possible because I see this giant black man walk through the door with a double-bladed battle axe. And I'm sitting there going like, oh no. And he sits down there and he starts yelling at us and screaming at us, and you're all worthless, and you're here to be riggers. It's the most important job in the Army, and who the hell is Specialist Dorito? And I'm like, it's me. He's like, get in my office right now. And he goes to he's like, puts his foot on his desk. He's there with all the first sergeants, like flipping through my file. He's like, why are you here, and what did you do? And he goes, I'm like, it's a long story, I don't have time, but I'm not gonna try to explain it to you. I screwed up and here I am. He's like, I'm gonna give you a second shot. You're in charge of everybody now. And if anyone screws up, it's your fault. He's like, if you want to be here and you want to serve again, I'm gonna give you your shot. And I did the best that I could, and I ended up becoming his battalion student command sergeant major and trying to win him all these awards and trying to whip these guys into shape and being 10 years old and everybody else. And then there's this other CW5. And I'm sitting outside the rigger shed one day, and he goes, you, come here. He goes, why are you here? And I just said, I know this sounds crazy, Chief, but I just really want to serve my country. He's like, you're not CID, right? I was like, no, I screwed up back in my past. I'm just trying to prove myself. And he's like, well, what do you really want to do? And he's like, well, I want to, go back to Special Forces. I was in the 19th Group. I want to serve my time, get a deployment in, and then I want to go be an officer again. And he goes, be careful what you wish for. And that's exactly the words I remember you saying to me. He said the same thing to me as I left school. Little do I know, I go do my combat deployment. I earn my E5. I switch over to civil affairs. I come back, and I got direct commissioned as an 03. And I'm still serving in the Army Reserve. And I just want to thank you so much for Sergeant Gillins. You are one of my mentors. You're one of the guys that kept me alive, so to speak, because you gave me a second shot when no one else would. And thank you, Chief Fraiser, for giving me that wise advice and really making me think about it, because now I look back on these things while my guys have screwed up and all the guys who I had to give a second chance and not trying to burn their careers and ruin their lives. And I ended up fighting for veterans for 10 years. If you can Google me, unfortunately, I have a book about this now. I ended up running for Congress over it. I didn't get on the ballot this year, but I'll get on it in 28. But what I realize is that you have to fight for the people that have no voice. And the examples that you men have given me, especially you, First Sergeant, and I'm so proud of you, and you totally earned this award. Like, no one deserves this more than you in my entire Army career that I can remember. Because if it wasn't for people like you, the next generation of men and women coming from the rigger field would have no idea of what kind of any moral or ethical boundaries to abide that in, because it is such an important mission, and I've seen it in real life, and so have all of you. And I just want to thank you so much for being a personal mentor to me. It's been 10 years. I'm still scared of you. It hasn't changed. But I want to make sure that we pass this forward. The lessons that you taught young men and women like me in the rigger field, all the hard lessons we had to learn have carried on for so long. And just as one last story, because you probably remember this one too. I got in a lot of trouble one time by First Sergeant Gillins, so we stood up there for PT. And there's a picture of me that one of the privates took me, because I'm standing in the front for PT formation, and going through our counts. Where's Private Samuels? And I sat there and I just looked in my face. I looked down at my canteen. And this man is like 6'7", tall, slender black man from the Bronx apparently. And I said, First Sergeant Gillins, I don't know where Private Samuels is. He's like, Dorito, you better find Private Samuels right now. And everyone's on the front leading rest. He's like, you're going to go every single room with me right now. And we start going through every single locker. We find like 7 gallons of vodka on top of this kid's locker, and no one knows where Private Samuel is. And he's like, you're going to have to make the hardest decision of your entire career right now. You're going to have to tell the entire battalion that they're not going to Busch Gardens this weekend. And I will tell you, to this day, there is a hidden Reddit feed on the internet about how much everyone hated Specialist Dorito, how much of a scumbag rigger he was, because he told Charlie Company and the entire 262, It wasn't First Sergeant Gillins that made that decision. It was my decision that they weren't going to Busch Gardens this weekend. And these guys were like, they went to CAG afterwards. Like, I'm talking like illustrious rigger careers. And to this day, they still hate me because I didn't let them go to Busch Gardens. But it was those leadership lessons of teaching these young men and women that right is right and wrong is wrong and always do the right thing. And I did find out today that apparently we did find Private Samuels. So now I can go out and tell everyone that 10 years later, Private Samuels was found by the FBI.